The purpose of this video is to explain a method I've developed for myself as a sovereign on how to deal with police politely and peacefully and to have them leave me alone as quickly as possible. The structure of this video, I'm going to go through and list a whole lot of dot points. Then we're going to be looking at some case studies of my previous experiences with the police, and I'll be showing what I did and why I think it's so wrong and what I would do differently today. This is not the perfect system. This is just the best I've come up with so far. And I always try to improve my work and update it to make it better and better and better, to make interactions with police easier and easier and easier. And I think this method is the best I have so far, and I really think it's the way police actually want you to talk to them. They'll be happy that you talk to them this way rather than the way I used to talk to them. I've learnt a lot since 3 to 5 years ago. I've come a long way. First point is to understand objective morality thoroughly. You need to understand that thoroughly. I've got plenty of videos on the channel explaining what that is and how to act as a grown-up, a good man or woman, and to know that you are in the right and haven't done anything wrong. So this video is about interacting with the police, especially when they've pulled you over. It's to do about traffic stuff on the road, but really it could be taken into account in any circumstances when dealing with the police. But it's specifically about driving on the road and being pulled over. But know that you haven't done anything wrong, provided you actually haven't done anything wrong. You need to know that, because it doesn't matter what their policy or legislation says. Reality is the ultimate arbiter here, and you need to understand that ultimate reality, the objective reality, because then you understand objective morality, and then you can be certain that you have the moral high ground. Number 2 is to have the right manner, to be polite, respectful, but firm. You also need to have the correct status. You need to correct your status, create the separation between you and the legal name. You need to keep moving the conversation towards the end point. You need to know the outcome and direct them towards it. You don't want to make them feel stupid or vengeful. Don't make them angry. Make them think this guy is too nice to do anything mean to. Make them feel comfortable, relaxed, and that you're someone they could even like. Different frame of mind. Make them feel safe being around you, comfortable to talk to you. Have them leave thinking that you're a reasonable, normal guy, not that, oh, he's some crazy sovereign citizen. What the hell was wrong with that guy? Was he on drugs? Like, what was wrong with that guy? Because I can understand how some of the police who have interacted with me in the past may have thought that. Even though I was totally right with everything I did, the communication with the police to communicate my message wasn't as good as it could be, even though my foundations were correct. Also, you want to leave them with the impression, if they do ever see you again, that they don't want to harass you. They'd say, we know who that is, let's ignore them. Let's leave them alone, that person alone. Let's not harass them. Don't get angry or accuse them of anything. Don't start yelling and saying how they're evil or they're bastards or they're doing the wrong thing. Yes, we know that, but there's no point in telling them that. It just doesn't help. Don't get angry at them. Be super calm, zen. Don't accuse them of anything. Don't call them names. Don't be sarcastic or smart with them. Just be real calm and reasonable, rational, level-headed. Be helpful. Assist them in their role within boundaries and be considerate of their time. Don't waste their time, because ideally you don't want them to waste your time. So you're just giving what you want in return. Consideration of time. Respect. Show no fear. Don't be afraid. Literally, don't be afraid, because change out of that mindset of confrontation. It's just, okay, I'm dealing with this. I want this to be over as soon as possible. I don't want to make this worse than it has to be. This is a bad thing that's happening to me. Okay, what's the best way I can deal with this? So show no fear and don't feel threatened by them. or make them think that you feel threatened by them. Because we'll look at my previous experiences and yeah, not good. It appears that I feel very threatened by them. It's not giving off a good vibe. It's not good, and it doesn't make me feel good. Less is more. Keep your words succinct. Don't ramble or make them bored of what you're saying. Don't keep repeating the same question or statement again and again and again. It's just unnecessary, as we'll also see in those breakdowns. Also, remember to nose and belly breathe. That just is going to keep you more relaxed and calm just by changing your breathing. It has a huge effect rather than mouth and chest breathing. Just changes your physiology. Sounds small, but it is quite powerful. And don't argue with them or try to explain yourself to them. Save that for court. Don't argue or try to justify your position or explain your actions as sovereign or anything like that. Don't try to convince them that they're bad, they're wrong. There's no point doing it because it's going to go one ear and out the other. There's just no point trying to convince them of anything. Just don't bother. I've been there, done that. It's pointless. Don't do anything which makes you look stupid. Don't say things that look stupid. I've done that in the past, saying, oh, you've entered into my contract now. If I do this drug test, you owe me 10 bars of gold. Is there an emergency? You just declared a state of emergency with your lights. Is there an emergency? Am I in immediate danger? There's no need to say that kind of stuff. Just no point getting into legal jargon. They're just not going to understand. There's no point. I won't do it anymore. Don't be afraid to get arrested. Don't have any fear. If they want to arrest you, okay, here you go. Not resisting arrest, not going to fight you off. Just, all right, here you go. That's it. Don't be afraid to go down to the station. Don't be afraid to go to court. Don't be afraid to get fines. Don't worry about any of that. Don't be afraid of it. Just, okay, face it as it comes. All right. Use negative vehement to respond to their assumptions of subjugation, because that's always what the police are going to assume, that you're a subject of their system. They're not going to assume automatically you're sovereign. They're not. So whenever they make assumptions, assuming you are part of their system, I'm going to use negative vehement to rebut those assumptions. Got quite a few other videos talking about negative vehement and giving many examples of what that is. And obviously the point is you're never going to pay those fines, the tickets they give to you or the court issues. That's the point of this. I stopped paying those fines years ago that the police issued or that the courts issued or any other of their agencies issued. I just stopped doing it. And personally, I've had no problems doing that in my experience. But I don't need to tell them I'm not going to pay their fines. I do that in indirect, more subtle methods of negative vehement, etc. So I don't need to say, oh, there's no point giving me that fine, I'm not going to pay it. There's no need. It's just a possibility to spark controversy and to extend the time you're stuck on the side of the road with them talking to you. You want them to do what they need to do and then go, so then you can go as quickly as possible and live your life and you have less headache. That's it. Make it clear you want the interaction to end as fast as possible so you can continue your life. Exactly as I just said. And don't give more information than necessary. Going back to before, make it succinct. Less can be more. Don't give them information they don't need because they're trained to use everything you give them against you. That's just what they're trained to do. That's their job. They're going to use everything they possibly can against you, even if you think it's harmless information. Oh, where are you going? Oh, I'm just going down to the park. And then you go to the park and they follow you and they make something up and then there's just more controversy again. Just don't give them extra information that's unnecessary. They're not your friend. You can be friendly with them. Sure, be friendly, but they're not your friend. You have to understand that. Don't make them feel like you are trying to be more powerful than them. This can happen sometimes. You want to allow them to feel powerful and in control because, as we know, police like that feeling. So allow them to feel that without letting them dominate you. You need to have the right manner, as I said earlier. Polite and firm. The right manner is very important. And it's easily said, but it's not easily done. And whenever necessary, when you just don't want to answer a question or you think it can be used against you or there's just no need, you can just feel free to say no comment. It's similar to exercising your Miranda rights or pleading the Fifth Amendment like in America. I don't know what they call it exactly in Australia. I've been watching more American videos. But I actually have had police tell me this in the past. You can just say no comment. And that was one of the best things the police have ever told me. You don't need to answer, it's just say no comment. Even if you are totally innocent about anything, anything they're accusing or investigating you with, sometimes it literally is just best to say no comment. Also understand that there are times when you do need to answer them, otherwise they just arrest you, like name and a few other things. But sometimes just say no comment, it's going to be better. Even if you think no harm can come from it, they can and will use information against you. You have to be so cautious with that. Because, in my opinion, these are not people you can trust. You cannot trust them. So you have to be very, very careful with how you interact with them. And if they start saying anything, oh, you're a sovereign citizen, my approach is to just reject that. But you also want to make it clear you're sovereign. Oh, no, definitely not a sovereign citizen. I am sovereign, though. But quickly move on. Don't get bogged down on that. But my perspective is I want to clearly state that. So that then the system, the police who are higher up, behind the chain of command, the magistrates, whoever else is involved in that system, they know, okay, this guy has identified himself as sovereign. And in my personal experience, I think that has been very useful because I've been to court 27 times now, which is a lot to me. Some people have been a lot more than that. But I've never had anything bad happen. I've never paid any fines, and I've never been locked up from any of those cases, which is fantastic. Although I hadn't done anything wrong, but in their eyes, I'd committed offences, never any crimes, but I'd committed offences in their eyes. But I've never had any problems, and I think it's because of the position I hold and I stick to. And I've never had any money taken out of my bank accounts, and I've not paid many, many fines, whether it's speeding fines or parking tickets, or I don't know, suspended license or unpaid rego, that kind of stuff. I don't worry about that. And I don't pay it, and I'm not going to pay it. And it seems that the back end of their system is more moral. It can be difficult to explain, difficult to understand, but they seem to go, leave this guy alone because we know he actually hasn't done anything wrong. He's actually a good man, but we want to keep up our facade because they make billions of dollars from it. I'm just going to show you the videos from my past experiences, and then I'll show you how we can apply those new principles, or I will apply those new principles in the future and what I'll do differently compared to last time I spoke to the police. My approach is I just want the police to either leave me alone, but they're not going to do that. I know what they're going to do. They want to send a fine to the legal name, or they want me to go to court. That's what they want to do, and I just want to move that process along as quickly as possible because I've got no problems with them sending me a fine because I'm going to ignore it. I'm not going to pay it, so I don't have an issue with that, and I don't have an issue with going to court. If they want me to go to court, no worries. I'll go to court and I'll talk to the magistrate and I'll deal with whatever they want to deal with then. So I want to make it very clear what my purpose of the interaction is, because I know that the police want to give me a fine or want to summon me to court. That's most likely all they're going to do. If I've been speeding, or my registration is unpaid, or I'm using private plates, or I've got a suspended license or no license at all, or whatever they pull me over for, any interaction with them, that's all they want to do. They want to send a fine to the legal name, or they want to take me to court. I got no problems with them sending the legal name a fine because I'm going to ignore it. I'm not going to pay it, which I've done for 5 years now, and it's worked beautifully for me. So I don't have an issue with that. If they want me to go to court, no worries. I haven't got an issue with going to court either. It's good practice. In a way, I can be actually quite grateful for that because it's awesome practice, funny to say, at having emotional control and character building. So no problem going to court, no problem getting the fine, and I think that's the easiest way to deal with them because I've tried many other methods in the past. Nothing else has really worked for me, and it always ends up and results to that. So that's what I'm going for. I'm just going to help them get to that point, while at the same time expressing my sovereignty via a few methods, a few ways. So let's look at this video. I uploaded it June 24th, 2022, 3 years ago, because today is Friday, the 6th of June. I'm in Costa Rica currently, the capital San Jose, and 2025, 6th of June 2025, today is the date I'm making this video. Let's have a look at this, and it's going to be cringy for me. It is cringy, it's painful for me to watch this stuff again. So I'll show you what I've done, and I'll show what I'll do differently in the future, what I would change. So I've just been pulled over by... Oops, I need to turn off my mic every time I play the video. Police. Okay.
Hey mate, how you going? It's Car Park, Gold Coast.
G'day mate, I'm doing pretty well.
Good,
yourself?
Thanks, yeah, good, thanks.
What's up?
The reason for the intercept is the motor vehicle's unregistered.
Okay, is there an emergency?
So he's come over, and he does appear to be quite friendly, and he said his name, and he said the reason for the intercept is that the motor vehicle is unregistered. So first of all, I wouldn't ask if there's an emergency like I've done right now. There's no point. There's just no point because it's not an emergency. We know that, and it doesn't get anywhere to ask that, or immediate danger. It keeps on repeating the same thing for no point. So what I'd say is just I'd introduce myself. What was your name again? I'd ask him because I didn't actually hear it. He said very quickly, and he said it's Matt Parks from this police station. Like, g'day there, Matt. I'm James. What was the problem today? Oh, the motor vehicle is unregistered. And so there's a few directions you could go. One of those things I could say is, okay, what can I do to help you with that? What do you want to do about that? So in a way, it's kind of putting the power back to him. What do you want to do about that? Because I know he just wants to give me a fine. So, okay, let's do that. I'm helping you speed up this process. I don't need to argue and say, oh, I don't need to pay for registration. Because at this time, I did have Queensland plates on, because prior to that, I actually had cardboard plates on. Oh, long story, but the second cop he's with actually assaulted me in a video we'll also be looking at tonight. Maybe I should have looked at that video first, but here we are. Making sure my audio is on, it is. So really, all I want to do is move this forward. What do you want to do about this? That's all I need to say. That's all I need to say. But, as we see, this is not what I said.
The motor vehicle's unregistered, mate.
Oh, okay.
My car's condition at the time, I was in my van. I was living in my van at the time, which was awesome. I loved that. And, oh yeah, because I had the cardboard plates on, and then I got attacked by the cops and almost killed, and like, I literally thought I was going to die, which in a way, I'm actually thankful for, because it was good practice at dying, which that's a discussion for another video. But I actually thought I was going to die. I thought this cop was going to kill me, and I don't really want to go through that again. That's why I've developed these new strategies on how to deal with the police. So I bought Queensland plates with 3 months registration. They actually expired like that day or the day before. And I didn't want to pay more registration. I already paid a couple $100 for that 3 months. I don't want to keep on paying. And so if that was to happen today, something I just simply say, what do you want to do about it? I don't even need to go into any negative or vehement right now or anything else. What do you want to do about it? And then he's going to say his next thing. But let's get back to watching this.
Is there immediate danger though?
Is it, you get a driver's license on you, mate?
Sorry mate, you've just declared an emergency. I just need to know if there's any immediate danger.
I'm not going to get into this conversation.
So my camera was doing this really weird thing. It was vibrating and making this weird noise, but I think it's still good to watch some of this. Maybe I'll skip it, but I'll show you because it's really emphasizing the point. Don't just keep on saying the same thing. It doesn't get anywhere. He asked me, have you got a driver's license on you? So if you said that today, I'd say, no, I don't use a driver's license, but I do have identification. Would you like me to show you that? Yeah, okay. Right? And so I have my private ID. So I've made my own private ID with all my details on there. And I mean, that's what I use a lot of the time when I'm traveling and checking into places, because it's my legitimate ID. It's a private ID. It's not impersonating a state or government license or anything like that. It's just, that's my private identification. That's how I identify. That's the real man. As I've explained in prior videos, I identify as my chosen name. I use my first name, which is given by my parents, but then my last name is my chosen name, the Traveller. I kind of regret it now because it's not a very cool name, but that's what I've chosen. All right, I'll just stick to it for the time being. But I don't use my family heritage name because I really like to create that separation, that distinction between me, the living man, the real being, and the legal entity, the legal name, which I am the custodian of. So I would say, have you got a driver's license on you? No, I don't use a driver's license, but I do have private identification. I don't even need to say private, but I do have ID on me. Would you like to see it? And of course he's going to say yes, and I'm going to show that. And I say, yeah, this is my ID, but what's the next thing he's going to want? He's going to ask for the legal name, right? So you need to know that's where they're going to go next. And so I already preempt that, and I say, but would you also like the legal name? Because I know you're looking for the legal name. Would you also like the legal name? Well, yes, of course he's going to want that. And so you have your birth certificate. And what I do in the car is I'll have my birth certificate on a piece of paper there, and I say, here is Mr. Bartolo, because that's the legal name I'm the custodian of. So it's really thinking about it differently. It's like imagining it's a corporation, a business, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Dell, etc. And you are the custodian of that company. I am not Microsoft. I am not Nike. I am the custodian of that business, of that legal instrument, of that legal name. To make it simple. Yeah, so this is me. Cool, here you go. Feel free. Well, there's no need to even say take a photo of it. You could say that if you want to take a photo of it, feel free, but trying to keep things succinct, short, to the point, only doing what's absolutely necessary. This is my ID. This is the legal name. What would you like to do now? What can I do? So you give that information. What else can I do to speed up this process? So it's always trying to move it along, assisting, being helpful, making them feel comfortable so they can see that you're complying. But boom, I've just also shown I'm acting sovereign without needing to say, I'm sovereign, I'm sovereign. No, this is my ID. I'm not using a driver's license. Here's the legal name I'm the custodian of. So they've got a legal name. They're going to punch it into their computer. If there's any warrants out for your arrest, yeah, that will pop up. So don't have any warrants out. Don't skip court dates and whatnot, because I've had that happen to me in the past. I was testing out, I didn't go to court. I was meant to go to court and I didn't go because I was testing what would happen. They put a warrant out, they ran the legal name. Oh, you got a warrant, had to be in lockup overnight. That's the only time I've actually been locked up because I didn't go to court. So now I learned that lesson, just go to court. It's not an issue. And then the next time when I went to court, are you the legal name? They say, are you Mr. Legal name, the surname? And I say, hi magistrate, I hope you're well. No, I'm James the Traveller, here. And then basically to summarize, he says it 2 more times in the space of about 4 minutes. And I just restate, no, I'm James the Traveller. And he says, get out. That's it. Just get out. And I walked out and that was the end of it. No problems. And that was for driving suspended license. This is fun. Continuing.
Well, okay, so there's no immediate danger.
Can you produce your driving license?
We can. I'm happy to.
Answer your question, mate.
Oh, see, you put on your sirens and alarms. Is that right? Oh, okay. Immediate danger. Immediate danger. Is it yet?
Roadside drug.
Immediate danger. Okay. Do you have ID on you? I'd be able to see first, please.
Can you please produce your driving license?
I was skipping through because I'm just saying the same thing again. All right, immediate danger, emergency, I want to know, am I safe? Don't do it. Don't make them, because then I look threatened and it's not a good look. I'm trying to be amicable. I'm trying to be reasonable here. Trying to leave a good impression. I want them to think this guy's very rational, very sane. I want them to think, from their point of view, yeah, this guy is a sovereign citizen, but he's not a fuckwit. That's weird, because all of them I've come across not being likable. But this guy, he actually seems okay. And of course, they're still going to, even when you say, if they ask you, are you a sovereign citizen? And you say no, but you've got stuff like a private ID, they're still going to think in their head, this guy's a sovereign citizen. They're just automatically going to categorize you as that because they don't know any difference. That's what they're going to do. But you still want to leave a good impression. So next time they see you driving with private plates or unregistered or whatever it is, which is breaking or violating their policies, but you actually haven't done anything wrong, that's the key point, that you haven't actually committed any crimes, they're going to look at your car driving past or sitting in the car park and they're going to go, ignore it. Because if you create a scene and you're difficult in a bad way for them, then they're just going to keep on harassing you and pick on you. You want to make it difficult for them because you have such a strong position. You have the moral high ground. They just go, it's too difficult, he's too good. Rather than, he's difficult, but let's get him because he's an arsehole and we want revenge. Remember, you don't want to make them feel shameful, stupid, or vengeful. Mainly, don't make them feel stupid and don't make them angry. Simple terms.
Okay, do you have idea on you I'd be able to see first, please?
Again, I wouldn't recommend this. There's just no point that I can see right now. Maybe, I just don't think. You get his name in the beginning, ask that, and it's just a courtesy. You just want to be respectful. I don't want to call an officer. I want to build some rapport there by addressing them by their first name, whether it's Matt or Sue, whoever it is. And if they only give you a badge number, you just say, oh, apologies, mate, I just want to be respectful and call you by your first name. But if you don't feel comfortable sharing that with me, I understand. All right. But I'm James, by the way. And if you approach it like that, they're probably going to say, oh, okay, look, it's Ben. I'm Ben. Yeah, sorry. We have to use these numbers because we don't want people to know our name and then harass us on Facebook or something. So it's changing the mannerisms. So they're looking at you differently. They're not looking at you like a threat or a loony or a bad guy.
I informed you when I first pulled you over. I said,
Yeah. No. Recording, I don't know if you were recording.
direction.
And who you
Up to the Gold Coast wrap immediately.
can't get all that.
We're not playing this game, mate.
No, this is definitely not a game.
Proper, lawful requirement direction to produce a driver's license.
But who do you work for?
So I've asked, who do you work for? It's right there. I can see it on the screen, Queensland Police. Don't ask it. There's just no point. Oh, but you could be impersonating a police officer. I don't go there anymore.
Talk about that stuff. After I establish my safety, we've established safety.
Again, I said I want to establish my safety. So it's coming off, I'm afraid, I'm fearful, I'm a victim now. I don't want to come across like that. I want to come across super powerful. But again, super powerful, and you could almost say dominant, but not domineering. Not dominant over them, but dominant over myself. Confident and certain in myself. That's it. Not my safety, immediate danger, threats, emergency, so scared, because that is how I was feeling. The camera is probably shaken like that and got that bzzz thing because that's reflecting what was actually going on inside me. Terrifying. There was nothing, almost nothing scarier to me than dealing with the police. But I don't want to feel like that anymore. It's not cool. So that's why I'm explaining my new method.
I've established there's no... Well, not really. We're making some progress. I need to know if you come in peace, firstly. Like, you
Do you enjoy doing this too?
not really.
Do you like
Do you?
wasting your own time and watching?
Wait, who pulled who over? Did you just pull me over? I'm happy to have a chat with you, mate. A friendly, peaceful conversation.
I've asked him here, do you come in peace? I wouldn't say that again. I wouldn't say that. There's no point saying, did you pull me over? Because obviously, yes, they did pull you over. Yes, we know the sirens. It's a threat to basically kill you if you don't pull over. Okay, there's no point discussing that with them or talking about it. Talk about that with your friends or on a YouTube video or something. No point bringing it up in the interaction with them. It doesn't help.
But I need to know first, like, do you have peaceful intentions? And I want to know, like, have you got ID on you as well? And then I'm happy to continue to do. Cars going past. Earlier you did say RAP, I don't. And so you work for that company. Yeah, sure.
I'll pull you over for proceeding requirement, mate, offence, mate.
Yeah.
Just have me for ID, so then I'll have to arrest you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a driver's license, but I have some ID. And I'm happy to share ID. Yeah.
Also, produce your identification there, please, sir.
Beg your pardon?
Please produce your identification there, please.
You want to...
So Aegis, the other cop we haven't actually seen yet, they'll come into picture a little bit later. He's asked, produce that ID then please, sir, because I've said I don't have a driver's license, but I've got some other ID I'm happy to share with you. And you can say that I'm happy to share that with you, but it could be considered accessory and words that just aren't necessary. But what I also want to do is correct the record anytime they address me as Mr. or Sir. Oh, you know, get his name as well. Excuse me, what's your first name? Oh, he might not even say first name, they just say surname. Okay, whatever name they give you. Aegis, I'm actually not a sir or a mister. My name's James. Please just call me James. Thank you. Just very polite like that. And I've said that to magistrates and it's worked quite well. But I don't want to be addressed as sir or mister because then that is creating joinder with this legal name. And no, I'm not the legal name. I'm just the custodian of that. I'm not a mister. I'm not a sir. And it's more important to make that very clear in court. But still, it's good to start off doing that with police. You want to be very clear. I've even done that checking into hotels. When I was in Dubai, this staff member at the hotel I was staying at, is just, sir. And it was just infuriating me. And I'm like, please don't call me a sir. I'm on the same level as you. I'm not a sir. Just call me James by my first name, please. I'd respect that and appreciate that a lot more. Oh yes, no worries, sir. I will do that for you, sir. And I'm like, what the? This guy just couldn't get out of his entrainment. Just this programming of calling me sir is bloody infuriating me. I actually cracked the shits at him after a few days. I was like, are you doing this deliberately? It's actually really pissing me off. Now it's just like, oh, whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter when hotel staff call you sir. But when it's with police, yes, I want that on the record. If this ever does go to court, no, not a sir, not a mister. That's a title. It creates enjoyment to legal entities, changes your status. I don't want to change my status from that as which I really identify as a man, of course, because according to all their legislation, their policies aren't applicable to men and women. So that works in our favor, our advantage, and that's what we need. Well, that's what I use to my advantage.
See my ID. Okay. And then you show me your ID as well? No, it's a threat. For someone who wasn't a threat.
With our directions and requirements.
So, but is an arrest like an act of violence for someone that hasn't done any harm, right?
So you're being required.
I'm happy to work with you on equal grounds, right?
You're not working with us.
Slow down, mate. Slow down.
No, I'm being
Relax.
very slow.
Peaceful.
I am being peaceful.
Okay. Being peaceful.
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, I'm, happy to show some ID,
Fantastic.
right? But just so you know, we'll continue this.
You're driving on Queensland roads. You follow the Queensland law.
Just so you know, like you don't have any jurisdiction.
Yes, we do.
Okay. How?
We're under the Transport Road Operation Road Use Management and the Police Power Protection.
Yeah, it's just pointless mumbo jumbo I'm saying. There's just, it's true. Yeah, you don't have any jurisdiction. Okay. But there's no point saying that to them. And there's no point bringing up, oh, you threatened to arrest me. That was a threat. Don't say that stuff. I won't be saying that in the future. And they actually are being quite peaceful compared to some American police. They're actually being reasonable for police and friendly. They're not yelling. There's no actual threats. I mean, the act of them being there or whatever is a threat, but it's not as bad as it can be.
Oh, okay. So that's where you get jurisdiction. So does that give you jurisdiction over a living man? Like, do you... No, seriously. And then I'll show you my ID. I've got it right here. I'll show you the ID. But
What are you trying to achieve?
well, what are you trying to achieve? That's the question. What you've just pulled me over.
So I asked the question, what are you trying to achieve? So there's no point asking them questions I already know the answer to. So you want to know the answer to these things. What they're trying to achieve is they're trying to make money for a business. Queensland Police is a business. They're in the business of finding people and making money for the people who own those corporations. So there's no point of asking that question. He wants to fine me or send me to court. I already know that, okay? I'm going to help him move in that direction so then he can do his job, and then I can move on and do whatever else is more important in my day.
I haven't committed any crime. Have I committed a crime? No, that's an offence. Is that civil or criminal law?
Mate, I'm not explaining this to you. You've committed an offence, you're driving on a road.
But are you here on a criminal investigation?
Under the powers.
Is this
PPRA and the firearms.
is this a criminal investigation?
So, produce your identification.
Yeah, I can show you the identification, right? But this is just ID.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, can you sit with me so I can confirm who you are?
Okay. Can I see yours so I can confirm who you are, and then I'll do the trade? If you show me your ID, I'll show you mine. I've got it right here. But I also want to see your ID as well.
I've already explained to you.
So you don't have any ID?
You don't need
You're about to get yourself arrested, buddy.
So that's a threat. Okay, I'm only complying under duress, because that's a threat. I take that as a threat.
It is, I am telling you.
Yeah, okay.
your
I'm
actions-
acting under duress because
That's
you just
fine.
threatened me.
It's not
Okay,
threatening,
you can
it's
see
just
that.
you will be
Do you want to
arrested
see
if
that?
You do not comply with the
Yeah.
requirements.
So that's a threat.
It's a promise.
That's so it's a
it's an
promise
acting-
of.
Okay, I think you're getting the picture here. Yes, I just, again, would not recommend doing it. It's a little embarrassing to watch back, but hey, at the time, I didn't know. I had to experiment, had to test this stuff out. Bloody hell, it takes some courage to try this. When you know you're right, but you just don't know how to articulate or communicate it, or you just don't have the experience to know how to act appropriately in the best way in these kinds of situations. That only comes with experience.
Hey, James.
This fella's-
I'm just going to give you a roadside drug test.
I just have to say I'm happy it's this angle now and the camera's not making that bloody annoying noise. This is better, we can actually see them now.
It's a roadside drug testing unit.
No, thank you. I decline your offer. I decline it. Don't wait. Dude, you just littered. I literally just saw you litter.
So he's now asking me to do a drug test, and I've said, no thank you, I decline the offer. I mean, it's nice to do that, but I think what I would do nowadays is just say, look Matt, I'd really prefer not to do that, but what will you do to me if I don't consent to doing this drug test? And if they then say, oh, well, we'll arrest you, or this or that happen, and you say, okay, I'll comply, but I do want you to know it's under duress, because I haven't taken any drugs and I really don't feel comfortable putting that thing in my mouth. But because you've said there will be these physical consequences of not doing the drug test, okay, I'll do it, but I'm complying under duress. Here you go, and then the 2 times, because I made it more difficult than it needed to be, just do it, and then that's it. Okay, because I don't take drugs. Hopefully you're not taking drugs and driving, because then that's going to be an actual problem. Police may actually watch my video and be like, we actually want James making more videos, because he's telling people, don't drink drive, don't be an asshole to the cops, don't use drugs and drive. So I'm probably a proponent to help the police do their jobs more easily. But it's a mutual win. It makes their lives easier, and it makes our lives easier. Well, it makes my life easier.
You just littered. Oh, maybe you didn't know. You accidentally dropped some of the plastic. No thanks, mate.
Manner directed by me. I direct you to rotate the tongue around your mouth 3 or 4 times.
No, thank
Inside
you.
your mouth. You're going to take this blue tab. You're going to scrape your tongue.
Matt, I just said no thank you, I don't want to.
That's fine. And then you hand it back to me. Okay? Commence now.
No, Matt, no.
It is an offence which you may be charged if you fail to comply with this crime.
Okay, I'll prefer to take the charge. I'll settle them in court. I'm not doing that.
So what happens there is you
No.
don't just leave from here.
What do you mean?
If you do not do this, you can get arrested, taken to the South Port.
What's your name? Senior
Senior
Constable?
Constable Aegis 31362 is my registration
Oh,
number.
Aegis.
Aegis,
Dude,
yes.
you grew a beard. Oh, I know you. You've already assaulted me. I'm charging you already.
So I just recognised that this was the cop who 3 months ago choked me half to death and attacked me, and we'll be breaking down that video next and how I would respond differently today. It's funny because he actually did have a beard last time, but for some reason I thought he had grown a beard. It's just the difference was he was wearing a cap last time. That's the visual difference. He definitely had that big beard. It's very recognizable. Also, I did see that cop he littered, so that's why I brought that up. He probably didn't realize it, and he probably normally would have bent down to pick it up, but because of the way I was behaving, it distracted him, so he didn't rectify his mistake. At least I'm trying to defend him there, because I hate littering. I don't even litter. I don't like that at all, especially traveling in many countries outside of Australia, just disgusting, like Egypt, Brazil, Colombia, the rubbish that fills the streets. I think it's horrendous. And so that's all a part of objective morality and understanding you are a good man or woman. And you don't even do things which may seem like a simple, petty crime, but it's still a crime. I think that's objectively wrong to destroy the world you live on by littering. I don't do it.
You're already getting charged for attempted murder, armed assault, armed
No, you're
kidnap.
hardest, man. I'm telling you what's happening.
Really? Do you have no morality, dude?
I'm outlining.
So here I was questioning his morality. I was telling him, charging him for all this stuff, which I did go to court and I tested and tried to do and whatnot, which is true. It was attempted murder, kidnap, etc. But there's no point. There's no point bringing it up. There's no point questioning the morality, saying that they're bad people, because no point. Stay away from it. Just discuss it with friends and people at conferences or at your home or on the internet, whatever. There's no point saying it to them.
To you, what happens if you do not follow?
Just write up a charge.
No, it's not about writing up the charge. What happens from here is, if you do not, you get arrested, you get taken back, and then you get the paperwork, and you get charged for failing to provide, which is comparable to high-range drink driving or driving under the influence of drugs. And then also, you lose the ability to drive. You lose your authority to drive any vehicles until court. Do you understand that?
It just sounds like you're threatening me, Aegis. I already know
this is
you are
the
a
law.
dangerous,
This is what
wild
happens in law
man.
if you do not comply.
Well,
So he said if you don't comply with the drug test, there's going to be all this other stuff. You're going to get arrested, physical force, etc. So at that point, to make it easier, as I stated earlier, you need to do the drug test. Okay, tell me, if I don't consent to this, what would happen? Oh, you'd get arrested and all this. Okay, I'll comply under duress. Okay, let's do it. That's it. So you got it on the record. If it goes to court, you didn't consent to that. It was because you were under duress, which means you were fearing for your life, because you don't want them to use physical force against you, because you know it's unjustified. They're in the wrong there. You don't need to tell them they're in the wrong, but you know they're in the wrong. And if it goes to court and it goes to trial and it's necessary to state that, you can state that, and you bring it back, you tie it back to, I asked what were the consequences of doing this, because they may even fake the drug test and you haven't actually been taking drugs, but they fake it, and you want to just make your position always as strong as possible, legally and morally. So it's just defending your life as best as possible. Okay, and here I'm just calling him a wild and dangerous man, and again, as I said earlier, there's no point calling them names, insulting them, getting angry at them, no point. But I'll show a little bit more.
I already know your
I'm trying to
character.
help you by
Help me.
outlining you.
Are you serious, man?
Your obligations.
You're trying to help me. Last time I spoke to you, you almost killed me. I made no attempt to hurt you. You had no justification.
Mate, we're
I'm
not
still
talking
in
about
court.
that.
I'm dealing with
Mate,
that.
if you're
You
heavily
are a
charged,
wild
we
and
can put that in
dangerous
court,
man.
So,
Doing the right
James,
thing and me.
I understand.
You're acting.
You
The direction, according to the direction, you are agreeing to be bound. I don't want any support. I will accept your.
So this is a part where I said earlier, I'm not going to say silly things that are just pointless and I can't enforce. So I'm saying something here. All right, I'll accept your direction to use this drug test, but according to my terms and conditions, which once I do this drug test, you'll be bound into a contract according to my policies, terms and conditions and stuff. It's just no point. No point to say that.
My terms and conditions.
No, not
okay?
your terms and conditions.
It's done. It's done.
It is the law.
If you give me another direction, you are agreeing to be bound into a lawfully binded contract forever, according to my terms and conditions. So I will accept your direction. Because you're not.
So are you failing?
I don't want to be. I don't want any violence used against me. Yeah. So that's the only reason I will accept your direction.
Are you going to follow with his comply with his compliance?
Well, only because there's backed by a threat of violence. So I don't want violence issued against me, but I will be charging you for this because it's forced. It's forceful. It's forced.
Take it for me.
Just once more for the court. Do you have a copy of the contract I signed consenting? Dude, I've told you, but it's yes or no.
I've told
Because you're threatening.
Yeah, James, take,
Yeah,
take
acts and conditions.
Okay.
Which,
Tabs here. Look, the 2 pin tabs. The tongue out, make contact with your tongue.
well,
there's been nothing put on there. You've been.
I don't know what you've put onto
You watched
this.
it the whole time.
Yeah, and by me accepting this, you've entered into my contract. Okay.
You're not.
Would you? They say they
do comply?
cannabis and. All right, there you go.
No,
And so he did clearly state, put this on your tongue, rub it up and down twice, and then you're done. There you see, I've grabbed it, I've just dabbed it on my tongue. It's like, oh, if you're forced to do it, just do it properly, give it back, so you can move on quicker. That's it. So you're wasting less of their time. They're gonna, because doing all this stuff to them is gonna make them vengeful. It's gonna make them hate me. And then it's gonna make them want to treat me worse. Then and in the future, if they see me again, I'll pull over this guy. He's a bloody idiot. We're gonna get him, or in court, let's try and punish him more, all this kind of stuff. So just, you want to establish your sovereignty and be firm. Say what you need to say. Be succinct, but then not act like this.
From the back of your tongue to the front.
What?
He said from the back of your tongue to the front.
As directed by me. No, again.
What do you
I need to
mean?
make contact with the tabs. Do it again.
It did make contact.
Again. Show me. Stick your tongue out.
All right.
And again. As
How many
directed by
times?
me.
You said twice.
As directed by me.
As
You
directed
have
by
to
you
make-
now.
Straight your tongue for me. Alright?
Just
Not
so you know, I'm going to be
facing-
taking this to court, and part of my terms and
And not-
conditions, and yeah,
mate,
part of the
it's a
terms
minute.
is intimidating me.
Simple, mate.
Okay, well next time I see you, I'll.
Thanks for your time. So, issue the infringement for the unregistered motor vehicle. You'll get that via email. Yeah,
Okay.
you can't drive a motor vehicle. You can apply for a permit online through Queensland Transport. It'll give you a permit to move the vehicle where you need to go. So, I don't know, where are you intending on going today?
Or you can pay your registration online now, no problems at all. Then there can't be no issues with your registration.
So he said, yeah, drug test has come back clean, which is good. They didn't try to fabricate anything. He said, we've issued the infringement and you can't drive away. So it's like, okay, now I've gone all through this. Now I know in the future what to expect. If something was like this to happen again, I want to get to that point as quickly as possible where they just issue the infringement to the email address and they tell me you're not allowed to drive from here, and then they walk away. Because then they get in the car and they drive away, and then I drive my way and I go do my thing. And there was actually, there was no court for this. No, it was just some infringement, a fine, which I didn't pay, and I just went on my day, and I've never seen these cops again. And yeah, they say, oh, you can get a permit to be able to leave. You just hear that and you're thinking in your head, yes, I'm not going to do that. As soon as you guys are gone, then I'm going to drive away in a different direction. You're thinking that. You don't need to tell them that. There's no point of telling them that. But that's what I do. That's what I do. I'm not suggesting for anyone else to do anything. That's just what I do. I wait till they leave and then I drive away. Ideally in a different direction. He also asked at the end, where are you going now? So I wouldn't answer that. Just say, okay, thank you guys. Oh, actually, no, I wouldn't even say thank you, because that's got the wrong vibrational frequency to it, because I'm not thankful. I'd just say, see you later, have a good day. Something like that. I wouldn't even answer the question. I'd just be polite and say something to, see you later. All right, well, no worries. See you later, guys. Something like that.
At this point, I think we've already established that there is a communication error happening here. So,
It seems to be a common thread with yourself.
well, it's obviously
Have a good day.
it takes two parties to tango, doesn't it?
Thanks for your time, mate.
I appreciate you're trying to do the right thing, Matt. I can see that, but you're not. So as you
True, but they just don't know. They don't know. They don't want to know. So I don't think there's any point of telling them that. Keep that to yourself. And that's the end of that video. So this video was uploaded June 8th, 2022. And this is a picture of me getting headlocked by that same cop ages 3 months, pretty much exactly 3 months prior to that video we just watched. So we definitely won't be going through all of this, just the main parts at the beginning.
Let go, okay. bugging me.
You guys behind your back? Behind your back? Okay. Good. Don't breathe too much.
G'day there, James.
Yeah, that sucked. I literally thought I was going to die. So, yeah, not the most pleasant of experiences, although I am happy with my state of mind. In that moment I thought I was going to die. I was like, oh shit, I'm going. Okay, I've been practicing for this. Let's go. But yeah, definitely want to avoid that. And I know how easy it is to actually avoid. So here is the footage from their body cams. I actually went to court about this. I had cardboard plates on my van. They saw it, they pulled me over, and there was two cops. One was Aegis with the big beard, and then a different cop, and this is what happened.
Please, sir. Can you jump back in the car for us, please, sir?
Why?
So I'm asking you.
What's the emergency?
Mate, jump back in the car for us, please, sir, for my safety, because I don't know you.
And so if he's saying get back in the car, actually I'll just stay in the car, because if you watch a lot of police videos on YouTube, you can find there are lots of people who jump out of the car and will just start attacking the police because they're on drugs, or they just hate police, or they start shooting the police, or they come out and the police misinterpret their behavior and they get tasered or they get shot. So with stuff like that, if he's saying, if you do get out of the car for whatever reason, get back in the car, okay mate, all right, because I want to make you feel safe. If I'm making you feel unsafe, I want to correct that because I want them to feel safe, right? So it's that, I feel, puts me in a position of power and control. Oh, I'm making him feel unsafe. Oh, okay. No, I want him to feel safe. All right. Because if he feels safe around me, he's less likely to attack me. If he thinks I'm a threat, he's more likely to attack me. I don't want that. So, okay, I want them to feel safe. All right.
So,
You're the one with the gun. I'm just driving around, man. What's
Yeah.
up?
Mate, I'm Senior Constable Aegis, Gold Coast Rapid Control Group.
Okay.
Mate, the reason why I
What's your
filled
name,
up Senior Constable Aegis, the Gold Coast Rapid Control Group.
Aegis?
Yes. Now, do you have a driver license here, please, sir?
Why?
So I wouldn't say why. I'd say, no, I don't, but I do have ID. Would you like to see it?
You've been driving a vehicle and you've been pulled over for a license check.
Why?
So again, I wouldn't just keep saying, why? Why? Because it's not useful. It doesn't progress the conversation the way you want it to go. And it, from their point of view, it looks a bit stupid.
Well, what do you actually want? What's the emergency? You just put on your alarms and you pulled me over.
Yeah.
Like, what do you actually need?
Because I am doing a license check.
You can't just pull someone over for
Yes,
a
you can.
license check.
Yes, you can.
So there's no point telling a cop what you can and can't do. What they can and can't do. There's no point doing that.
And I'm going to conduct a roadside drug test as well.
No.
Yes, I am.
Where's your proof for that? Where's your jurisdiction for that?
Transport Operations and Road Use Management Act.
I don't know who you are. You sure you
I've told
your name?
you.
I don't know you from a bar of soap. You've just pulled me over. You're armed to the teeth. You're making threats and intimidations. You've got no grounds. You've got no just cause.
Actually, I do.
Where's
Transport
your just
Operations
cause?
Road Use Management Act.
Yeah.
Morally, it's true. Of course, I don't have the right to forcefully make someone submit to a drug test. It's like, do I look like I'm under drugs then? No. So where's your reasonable suspicion? Blah, blah, blah. But again, there's no point. Well, actually, maybe from their point of view, because I had cardboard number plates on, that did look a bit wacky. Because at the time, I didn't know. I was just experimenting. I had bought this van. It had number plates from New South Wales on that had expired years ago from the previous owner, and I just left those plates on. And then some female cops saw me parked in a car park at a shopping centre, and they took the plates off, and then I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to put cardboard plates on with that number that was on it, on my van. Let's see what happens. I parked it in Burleigh Heads on the Gold Coast on the side of the road. The cops took the plates, the cardboard ones. I came back that morning, saw the cardboard plates gone. I made new ones, put it on again, drove down the street. 20 seconds later, they flash on their lights behind me in an unmarked car, pull me over. This is what happens. Also, I need to state, I've forgotten, it's always best to avoid confrontations with police. If you ever see them, even if you've paid your rego, you got license, all that stuff, just avoid them. Just avoid them as much as possible. If you see a roadblock coming up in front of you, don't go through it. Turn around, go around it, because you never know what will happen. If you see them in the rearview mirror, go off a side street, let them go past you, then get back on the road. because most of the time there's no problems when you're driving past them. I experience it's when they come up behind you is when they pull you over. So avoid it. Even if you're legally doing everything right by their books, it's just not worth the risk. That's my approach. So that's a bit of the backstory of what happened here.